Welcome to A Walk in My Shoes. In this podcast, we'll hear students share their experiences and insights on education. We're excited to have you join us. Big thanks to the Milford Public Schools and the podcast team for helping us bring student voice to the forefront of education. A Walk in My Shoes was developed through the Special Education Youth Advisory Council, currently in its 8th year of representing students from across Connecticut. The Special Education Youth Advisory Council creates a space for students to share their experiences and increase their capacity to make informed decisions regarding their education. We hope you enjoy our second episode as we explore the brilliance that our students have to share.
Welcome to A Walk in My Shoes. I am Cameron Wilkitis with the Milford Public Schools, joined by Nicole Vitale, a consultant at the State Education Resource Center. In today's episode, we will continue speaking with students who participate in a statewide youth advisory council in Connecticut that is designed to increase student involvement in the special education process and to help students develop strong, effective leadership skills in order to make positive changes in their school community. To ensure the privacy of the students, we have not included any names or the name of their high school. We have 2 students in the studio today. Welcome to both of you, and thank you so much for joining us with only a few days left until school's out. Today, we are going to be talking about when you first learned about an IEP, what was that experience like for you, as well as what supports and services have been most helpful for you? So let's get started. So students receive an IEP at various ages, and some students may have an IEP yet are unaware that they have one. For you, when and how did you learn that you had an IEP, and what was your initial reaction to it?
I actually didn't know what an IEP was when I first started getting services. I started really getting services in first grade, but then I was like, oh, I'm done. So the speech teacher was like, oh, she's done. She's 5 years old. And then I got them again in middle school when I figured out I had dyslexia. And then it just kept on going on until high school, where I was put into a learning center. My initial reaction to it was, oh, I have dyslexia? Are you joking? Because I didn't think that was serious, because I just thought I was really bad at spelling and not the best at reading. So it was really tame, my initial reaction, but then turned into this. Okay.
So how I found out that I had an IEP is kind of weird. My mom kind of hid it from me. I didn't really understand why I would get taken out of the classes, or I would have a para in there, which is almost like an extra teacher, extra help, extra time. I didn't know I thought everyone had these certain accommodations. I was just a little bit special. When I found out I had ADHD, it kind of summed up everything I kind of found out around 6th grade. I kind of knew that I had ADHD because when I went in for a doctor visit, when I went in for a doctor's visit, we ran series of tests and everything, and it turned out that I did have ADHD, and that kind of connected all the dots to why I was kind of disrupting the class, wouldn't raise my hand, kind of getting up and fidgeting or moving around. So it kind of everything kind of connected, and I felt that was really weird how it all connected. But my mom actually hid my IEP from me. I didn't know what it was until 7th grade, and now I'm in high school, that I kind of now understand why I have these certain accommodations, and that helps me with learning. But yeah, that's how I kind of I found out. The teacher said, do you know what an IEP is? And I was like, what is that? And that's when they finally told me this is what I have. These are my accommodations. So yeah, that's basically what happened.
Great. Thank you so much for sharing that. It's really important for people to hear directly from students about their own experiences. So our next question for you is about the services and supports that you receive. Who did you go to initially, or who do you currently go to receive support in school?
Currently, I go to my case manager every time I have a problem in school. I always CC her on my emails, and I always have her being added to my really difficult classes that I know I'm going to have trouble on Google Classroom, so she can always keep up with assignments. I also go to my mom a lot, and I'm always like, hey, how should I email this teacher? Because I'm kind of a chronic emailer, half joking. But my mom and my case manager are really my main supports in school. Also, my choir teacher is always like checking up on me because I'm not the best at science, and he's always like, "Oh, is science better for you this year?" And I'm like, "Yeah, totally." So those are my supports.
My supports are definitely like my case manager. I'll copy her on certain emails that I'm sending out to my teachers, especially like from the start of the year. I had to email every single teacher and had to copy my case manager on for my IEP accommodations. Basically, I usually go to my dad like and my stepmom. I'll go to them and be like, hey, how would I email this teacher? She's not following my accommodations, or I need some extra help, but I don't know how to reach out to the teacher without it coming off like, hey, you need to give me this now. Like, so it's my dad and my case manager I usually go to, or like another teacher.
Great. Do you think there's any additional supports that should be in place for students who have IEPs?
I feel like if you need like the additional supports, like I know like some of my paras like they got removed because I didn't really need them anymore. As I got older, it kind of like everything kind of like moved around. Like I had some of my accommodations that were added, some were taken off. But I've had my IEP since I was in 4th grade. So I kind of, those things, like as you grow up, you kind of will be like, hey, I don't really think I need this so-and-so, or I don't think I need this and this. So basically, like a lot of things can be moved around and everything.
So they change and shift based on your needs and
Yeah.
how you grow as and change as a student.
Yeah.
Great.
I personally think more support should be in place for not just the kids that in elementary school they seem like they're a little bit like special ed or something like that. I think it should be basically required for kids to take this because I have a lot of friends that come to me saying, oh, I think I have dyslexia, or like, oh, I think I need an IEP, because schools aren't putting in place the special, not the special, but the support that normal quote unquote kids need. So it's making them fall behind in school more, which I think is very important for every kid to have these type of supports, because I think it's very beneficial. It helps me, it helps a lot of kids. So I think that would be really helpful for almost everybody to have that option to be able to be tested and see if they do or don't have a learning disability.
Great. So you feel like all students really could benefit from services and supports across the
Definitely.
board, right? Great. Thank you.
We know how important and what a difference a supportive environment can look like to ensure that students are feeling a sense of belonging and to ensure their success in school. So thank you for your thoughts on that. Our final question is, what is something you wish you knew about having an IEP? Like if you were talking to a younger student, what wisdom would you share about your experience?
I would say don't think that you're stupid, because you're not stupid. It's just the way that your brain functions, and yes, it has pros and cons, but it also isn't meaning that you're stupid, doesn't mean you're smarter than anybody else. It just affects the way that you learn. What I also would say is don't be afraid to like stick up for yourself, because I've had teachers in the past saying like, oh, you can't really do that, but because they don't understand how IEPs work. But you have to put your foot down and be like, I actually do need this, and it's a thing that's put in place by like the law. So I think people should be like able to support themselves in the way that they need to.
I also agree with what she was saying. So it's like, it's how everyone learns. It's how everyone's brain processes and how everyone can like experience their education and school life differently. It's about how like you want to learn or how you need to learn to be successful. And it doesn't matter if, like what she was saying, like it doesn't mean you're stupid or you're behind or anything. It just means that you just need a little bit of a pickup. And I think that's like the big problem that some people think, that if you have an IEP or if you're in a different class, you're stupid, which is not true. You can be the smartest kid in the class but have extra time or more resources. Or you can be the dumbest person in the class but excel in your grades. It doesn't matter if you're dumb or stupid. Nobody is dumb or stupid. But yeah, that's basically it.
So just to even go back to the point earlier about this idea of normal, right?
Yeah.
Is there really such a thing as normal?
No.
Probably
Definitely
not, right?
not.
Because everybody learns differently, they do things differently, they excel in certain things, they might not excel in something else. So everybody's just in a different place doing different things.
The reason why I would say quote unquote normal is because of other kids' perspectives and like how they see special ed and thinking like, oh, that person's stupid, so I'm not gonna do that. I think it should be normalized that everyone should be supported in schools and in other places.
I think that's a really great point.
Yeah, and I'd like to add on, but like people that say quote unquote normal means that like you're just like everyone else. Nobody is just like everyone else, and I'm the first one to say that. I'm no one. I'm like no one. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's all how we learn. Like some people are followers, some people are leaders, but we're all leaders in our own way of how we learn and how we excel.
Exactly. I think you make some really, really great points. Thank you for that.
No, thank you.
Thank you so much. It is so helpful for people to hear directly from students about what it means to have an IEP and share experiences about the powerful impact having an IEP can have on your education. We are so thankful to have you in the studio today. You are the reason we are here, why we come to work every day. You are truly the leaders of the future. We hope you will join us again as we continue our learning with students, families, and educators from across the state. Take good care, everyone. Have a great summer.
Thank you.
The Special Education Youth Advisory Council is funded by the Connecticut State Department of Education Bureau of Special Education and coordinated by SERC, the State Education Resource Center. This podcast was created in collaboration between Milford Public Schools and SERC. SERC provides resources, professional learning, and a centralized library to educators, families, and community members. To learn more, please visit SERC online at ctcerc.org. The views of guests are not necessarily the views of the Walk in My Shoes podcast, the State Education Resource Center, or the Connecticut State Department of Education. This conversation has been edited.